Tottenham have his new manager, and that guy is Ange Postecoglou. I absolutely love this appointment. I think that this is brilliant for Tottenham. Today in this video I want to talk about the reason that made me so convinced about Ange Postecoglou, because initially I didn't know too much about him. Of course you know what he's doing with Celtic, but that is rarely impressive because Celtic is a team that is used to win trebles. Celtic is a team that is used to win leagues. Is a little bit a one-man league. The more you read and the more you understand about this guy, the more it becomes clear that the impressive thing that he did was not the fact that he won the treble, is not the fact that he was successful with Australia, is not the fact that he won leagues in Australia, but is the way that he did all these kind of things. Because with Celtic, if you listen and you speak with Celtic fans, you will hear from them that his football that he was proposing at Celtic was the best that they have ever seen. Rock and roll football, a very direct and offensive football. Celtic fans have experienced this season exactly the type of football that we as Tottenham want to play. And if you go back to see what he did in Australia and in Asian football in general, that is even more impressive than what he did with Celtic. Australian football, when Postecoglou got his first job, was a complete mess. The main style of play in Australia was long ball to the striker, and that's it. So you can imagine the shock when a young manager of 28 years old come to the scene playing a complete different style of play. He was under a lot of pressure by the press, by the media, because of course it was a new way to play, and it was regarded a lot of time as they are keeping the ball and they are not doing nothing. Ange was implementing into Australia the possession-based football that we were playing in Europe for the first time. And with this new play style, he won 4 times the Australian League. After the immense success that he had with club competition, he got the job that he was waiting for since day one, the Australian national coach. And as usual, in complete Ange style, he revolutionized everything. It changed the way that they were playing football, and the process was so successful because in 2015, Australia became for the first time champion of Asia. Ange Postecoglou made history even with the national team, always playing with his style, never changing his ideas. After he completed Australian football with the club and national team, he went for a new challenge. He wanted to prove himself outside of Australia, and he went into the most competitive league at that moment in Asia. That was the J-League, the Japanese league. Yokohama was a big chance for him to prove his ideas into a more competitive league, and was also a club that was in the Manchester City group, so the level was raising a lot. But for Ange it took only 2 years to win a championship with Yokohama, a championship that was missing for 15 years, and he won it like always, playing a very aggressive way to play, a very intense way to play, always going forward, always trying to be as offensive as possible, always playing his usual entertaining style and not changing it under any situation. After Yokohama, he went to Celtic, and as we all know, that was another success from Ange, ending his spell with the treble. So analyzing a little bit all his career, I struggled to find one time where Ange was not successful. Every time that he took a situation, he improved the situation and he won things playing an attractive style of play and a very offensive one. The only concern that you can have is that he didn't manage in the Premier League before, but I don't think that's a problem, because I see his ideas translating so well in this modern era of the Premier League, especially when you see De Zerbi, Guardiola succeeding so much. As long as Daniel Levy will give him the tools and the players that he needs to implement his style of play at Tottenham, I think that we are here for a very fun ride. And finally, I think that the fan base can have the football that they want with the man that we can get behind, because he's a very charismatic figure and he's a very well-spoken man. So I think that there are all the ingredients to start the rebuild. Now it comes the hard part. Now it comes the part when you need to sell players and you need to bring players that are good enough for his style of play. Ange, of course, will be fundamental for our rebuild, and I trust him 100%. And I hope that also the fan base will make him feel loved here, because I think that we need to stick for a manager at least for 3 years to get out of this mess.